I'm a huge critic of NAR. I think they got a lot of things to answer to. But NAR's complicity, if these are real, if there's actual evidence here on these alleged claims against Move, how is NAR complicit in that? This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you were tuned into episode 332 of The Real Word.
Word is up. It's so funny. I thought we were 334. Didn't we say like we were at 332 for like 9 years?
No, was it? Was it? Ask Kaylee. Is it
No, it's
332?
332. You're right. But
Whatever
I'm
it
with
says
you.
down,
I feel like we've said 332 for the last 3 weeks.
whatever it says down in the description. I think you're just getting fatigue over the lawsuit talk because it seems
That
like
is for sure. It's like Groundhog Day. That's what it feels like. We've done this before.
every week we have new, fresh, exciting law to bring to you. We are not attorneys and this is not legal advice, but we do have 3 new lawsuits in the real estate industry to break down for you. The first is going to be the Homie lawsuit, Homie's lawsuit against NAR. I mean, these lawsuits are just starting to pile up against NAR. I can give some thoughts on that a little bit
Yeah.
later, but Homie lawsuit against NAR. And then DOJ, they want to be in the mix, Nicole. They want to jump in. They have now sued RealPage. We'll tell you what RealPage is if you're unfamiliar and what that lawsuit covers. And then there are a group of agents who filed a lawsuit against Move, the parent company, of course, the Realtor.com and OpCity, as well as included in that lawsuit is NAR. You've guessed it, NAR. So we got a whole bunch of lawsuits to cover. This isn't going to stop anytime soon. I think you'll probably have a good year plus run. All of 2025 is going to be filled with lawsuits. So if you're like, I can't wait to get past November when the NAR settlement kicks in, and maybe into the new year,
People are just getting started here.
you're just getting started because there's going to be a wave of lawsuits coming at NAR. It's going to be really hard for NAR to defend,
Mhm.
especially once the serious ones start kicking in for NAR. Yeah, I'm not saying that this, group of agents and that
Are
Homie
not
are not
serious.
serious at all. I'm just saying
You have
there's
some
more.
heavy hitters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's members. There's big brokerages that are coming, and so uh, at the end of the day, how many lawsuits will the association, be able to defend themselves in? That'll remain to be seen. Okay, let's get into the Homie suit. Homie, HOMI, and NAR, National Association of Realtors, I would say are no longer homies, Nicole. This is
Not homies.
probably putting an end to that if they were homies before. On August the 22nd, Homie filed an antitrust lawsuit against NAR as well as Anywhere Real Estate, Keller Williams Realty, Home Services of America, Remax, as well as the Wasatch Front Regional Multiple Listing Service. Wasatch?
I feel great. I'm not getting
Wasatch.
involved in that
What did I
name.
say? Wasatch?
I mean,
Wasatch.
the whole thing is wrong.
Okay, so as well as an MLS. So sounds a little Missouri light coming from Homie, putting those names that were obviously in um, the catch mark filings,
Yeah.
grouping them together. The complaint alleges that the defendants violated antitrust laws and conspired to boycott lower commission competitors. Homie prides itself in being a lower commission competitor. They're a flat fee brokerage. They also
Mhm.
claim that these organizations block new, innovative market entrants like them from disrupting traditional real estate models, particularly those that offer services for lower commissions. In its filing, the brokerage included several alleged messages from real estate agents to showcase its argument. Some of these messages strengthen the argument. We're going to get to these messages. These are bad messages. These are a bad look for the agents that wrote them. The Homey claims that NAR and its members have used control over MLS to create barriers that prevent new competitors from entering the market. NAR has inflicted control over the MLS. I'm just going to say it. I'm not taking a side here on this particular lawsuit. I'm giving you what is in this lawsuit, and then I gave you a side comment, a little comment over here that
Not
yes,
political though. It's not a political comment.
no, it's not. Somebody in the comments last week said I was getting I don't even know what I said that was political. It was an
I
hour
don't know either.
episode.
And usually I know. Usually I think I'll call you out, but I don't even remember one.
I
So
guess 'tis the season. Everybody is a little bit
I'm
sensitive.
gonna stay
I
I'm gonna stay on you though. I'm gonna listen for it.
stay
I'll
on
call you
me,
out.
okay?
I'll like buzz you. Like there's like a bzz.
Stay on it. Don't be offended. By the way, housing and the economy, they kind of do cross over into what some of the people in DC do.
Yeah.
And I'm not promoting one side or the other. I'm just saying this is, kind of relevant right now. But anyways, going back to the lawsuit,
Yep.
Homie wrote that on their website, okay, that they were founded on the belief that home ownership should be accessible and fair for everyone since 2015. Well, I think they probably, would say even before
Right.
2015. This is them launching in 2015. Homie has saved consumers 140 million in commissions. Okay, so that's the since 2015. Our fight is about so much more than savings. It's about every home buyer and seller who's had to endure a system that puts profit over people. By shining a light on these unjust practices, we're not just hoping for change, we're demanding it. We envision a real estate industry where fairness and equity are the standards, not the exceptions. We're committed to building a future where the real estate market works for everyone, not just a privileged few. Home ownership in this country is, I think, 64, 65%. I did an interview with Stacy Sutter, who was formerly number one REO broker back in the boom days of REOs in
Yeah.
Houston, big location. He's of the position that home ownership is not for everybody. He simply says some people just can't afford a home. And so if you put 100% of folks into home ownership, that would be bad. That's his take. I'm just, you can go watch that interview that I did with him.
Yeah.
And so we have, and that's kind of typically where we run at 2/3 of the country is home ownership. Homie's saying in their statement, maybe getting a little bit crazy, saying it's just a privileged few. Well, 2 out of 3 people own a home in America. So based off home ownership numbers, right? So I would say that's more than a few. I would like it to be more. Nicole, would you like it to be more?
I mean, obviously.
Okay,
Yeah.
obviously. So I think we could agree with most of their statement here and their position about being accessible. Now, being accessible and fair for everyone, home ownership, that's, I guess, where Stacy disagrees that, like, if you can't afford it, you're not in a position, it shouldn't be accessible to you. Because then if you
Yeah.
access home ownership, then his point is then you're going to be in foreclosure status, right? Like we
Right.
saw what happened back in those days when there was access for basically anybody,
Right.
and then what happened there. So,
Well, I mean, it's
um,
not just actually purchasing the home though either. It's like upkeep and like if you have a
yeah,
plumbing problem or a roof problem or a furnace problem, now you need heat and air conditioning. I mean, everyone deserves heat, everyone deserves electricity, but not everybody can then afford it after. I mean, there's obviously multiple layers and
yeah.
everybody knows that, but
But we're not here to debate Homie's
no, 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 no,
statement
no, not at
online.
all.
It has
No,
nothing actually to do.
no.
It's just wanted to give you some context of the homies over at
Right.
Homie. That's what's on their website. Now let's get into the actual lawsuit. And there are some troubling, what I would call evidence, allegedly, from Homie that they've presented in this complaint. Homie's lawsuit targets NAR's participation rule, which is now obviously no longer in effect. While it was, though, Homie states that it has messages from agents blatantly refusing to show Homie listings to clients unless they raised their buyer broker commissions. This is allegedly troubling evidence that Homie has. The following messages allegedly received in the comment field of the MLS mentioned earlier, WFR MLS, which can be found on page 20 of the following. That we'll link the nowbam.com article that covers this. You
Yep.
can actually go and get the download copy of the entire following. You could go through this if you are interested enough, but we're just going to give you the highlights here. Quote number 1, Nicole: if you up the commission, I will bring my buyers. If not, I will not. It's a disservice to your client. Please educate them. Please let them know that I truly have a buyer that would possibly buy this house. I won't show it until the commission is raised. Oh my God. Would you
Yep.
ever in a million years
Mm.
write, and have you even considered writing anything, even 10 years? Have you ever, and this is what blows my mind, that there are agents that have thought
No,
to
but
write
there
this.
but there and again, I don't know what Homey offers. I don't know what they offer. I don't know what the practice is. I'm not overly familiar with Homey myself, but even like
Well, they're working at a
a reduced
rate to they think that passing that savings along is going to,
totally get it.
they've saved consumers 140 million
Yeah.
commissions, and so
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I've
kind of
been
there.
in situations where, like, even in this environment, agents texting being like, "This is not the standard rate. Like, how dare you not why wouldn't you offer more?" Like, yeah.
I mean, Homey has loans. They say they have the best rates on loans. Um, they also help you sell homes, and so they save you fees on selling the homes. They have agent, so it's you um, it's one of those models. Anyways, this is whether you listen. A lot of people have done deals with Redfin agents,
Yeah.
and I couldn't imagine ever saying this, or
No.
anybody that really I've met in the industry saying this to a Redfin agent. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to agree, or that doesn't mean that you have to take up the business model that your services are at that level. Like if you cook, um, a beautiful steak, the way some, really high end restaurant cooks a steak, you don't have to sell it for Ruby Tuesday prices. Okay. You would sell it for, you're cooking Wagyu, you're doing something, a Phoenix cut Wagyu. Just had one of those at the Warren in Naples. Unbelievable. Never even knew about the
Yeah.
Phoenix cut. Did you know about the Phoenix cut?
I didn't know about the Phoenix cut.
Something rare, something spectacular,
Does
Nicole.
it go with your caviar beans
Had a
in
had
your martini?
caviar stuffed olives in a martini that day. By the way, just a little extra perk,
I'm
chatting with the
assuming it
waiter.
was just sounds like these were things at the same restaurant.
They were at the same restaurant. Waiter took very nice care of me,
I
and
bet.
shout out to him, shout out to the Warren. Anyways, you're not going to go and expect Ruby Tuesday steak prices. I'm
Yeah.
throwing Ruby Tuesday under the bus here a little bit, but I'm sure Ruby Tuesday might be fine for the price
Well,
point.
so here though is where I fall down too, because if I then call like a Ruby Tuesday or what have you and tell them that I'm not coming
I'm
because
not
of their
coming.
prices, they're not all of a sudden gonna be like, "Oh, you know what, Nicole? We were waiting for you to call me and for you to send me this email, and I'm
Uh,
so glad you did, because you know what we're gonna do? Now we're gonna change it."
I'm
Like,
not coming to Ruby's until you raise the prices or
and
raise
they're
the
like, "You know what?
quality.
So glad you emailed us.
So
We're gonna
listen,
change it now." Like,
Ruby Tuesday's argument is our quality serves a need, and we're at a price point. And so going into this where it's documented and berating this other service, please educate them. Please let them. This is just dumb. Okay. And if this alleged comment is true, then I think there is a case against that agent. I'm not sure if there's a case against all of Keller Williams or all of Anywhere Real Estate or all of Remax for one agent's comment. I don't know if there's a case here against NAR, to me, from Homey, just saying, for these one off comments. Is there a case for that agent to, they probably shouldn't be in the industry if they have this kind of public comments that are now sticking and put into this lawsuit. That depends on a number of factors. But here's another comment. Put a unit number and better directions on the listing. Okay, put a unit number. I mean, a unit number would be helpful.
It would be
I
helpful.
guess you could agree with that, right?
And I don't know why you need better directions on the listing though.
You
Don't
don't
you
need
have
directions.
ways?
What are you
Like,
not? What are you 90? You print out MapQuest? Get over
maybe.
yourself. You don't
Yeah.
need directions. If you can't figure out how to get to the listing, you don't belong at the listing. But a unit number is helpful. That'd be helpful. Okay, and also get a key for Superbox. Super shaming is very
Is
stupid.
real.
Silly. It's real, but it's silly. Like, why does everybody think it has to be Supra? Okay.
I hate Supra.
Oh my God. I mean, listen, Supra's fine, but why does everybody have to have Supra?
I don't use Supra.
Um, there should be there is the 1 day code, right?
No, no, that's not Supra.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
All
there's
right.
no codes for that. You need to have the actual,
You have
like,
to have the actual thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, anyways,
I'm
and
not
then,
aware of a day code, but I'm like that. I've never given it. I don't use Supra,
but
but I do have the key. I do have a key.
here's the most egregious comment. And BAC, brokerage and commission at 3%. All right, here's another one. I'm sure you'd sell it if you changed the BAC to 3%. Here's another one. Raised commission to 3%. These are alleged comments. Okay. The complaint also showcases a following email. Hey, homie. Hey, imagine, right? Hey, homie. I wanted to let you know that I feel you're doing your client a great disservice by offering just $1,000 broker agent commission on this property at blank in Lehigh. I will be showing my client many homes in this area over the next few days, all offering 2.5% to 3% BAC, and your listing would be one I would otherwise show them. But because your BAC offering, which is laughable, I will not be including your listing in what I chose to show them, and I am certain I am not the only licensed professional who will be doing the same.
Licensed professional. It's interesting that that's what they call themselves too.
Yeah, you can't go and try to fix prices and then claim you're a professional. Okay, just like when we want to talk about Consumer Federation of America trying to fix prices at 2% for commission, we got to be fair on the other end here. This is a
Right.
bad, egregious email. Okay, this is not good. The email goes on. And here's a text message. Hi, Josh. I had your home on a list of 4 to show my buyers tonight. Removed it from the list after I saw a 1.5 broker commission. I could always show it and then negotiate the buyer broker commission in the contract, but figured why go through the hassle when we have 3 other great properties paying 2.5% or more. Just
Please
2.5
tell your
before.
sellers I mean, these
Please tell your
people.
sellers. No, the sellers and the agent have clearly had a conversation about what
That's why
direction they
Josh
want
is
to go.
there, and that's why Homie is there. Like, if they really thought that there was gonna be a disservice, they would have probably called the local Coldwell banker. I mean, they know, like, they would have called the local,
If the
like,
seller wanted
RE/MAX.
to go to Capitol Grill, they wouldn't have booked Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Like, if they wanted to join me at the Warren for a Phoenix cut, they wouldn't have a reservation at 6:30 on a Friday night at Ruby's. Okay,
And
there's
then
just
or they wouldn't have
options for
showed up at the
everybody.
Warren and been like, "How dare you?"
Yeah,
After you've already ordered it and eaten it.
there's a lot of people that want to eat, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, we're not saying there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, it's not disparaging to say that, hey, a low price offer is like what you have in other industry. You have low price offers, you have high price offers.
Right.
You've got Chanel. What else would you have that's lower than Chanel? Amazon. You got Chanel. You got Amazon. You got you like Chanel.
I think you can get Chanel on Amazon.
You can get Chanel on Amazon. You should do it both. Do it both ways. Okay. These are ridiculous
Yeah,
comments. And I think that ultimately the agents should have to answer for them,
yeah,
not necessarily on this case. I don't know what NAR has to do with these rogue comments. I don't know what the big brokers named in the lawsuit have to do with the rogue comments. So, homie's seeing an opportunity with obviously the lawsuit, that the judgment that Catchmark won.
yeah.
This to me is probably something that would be protected under that? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's a different angle. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. Um, but you know, NAR spokesperson gave the following response. NAR's goal is to promote local real estate marketplaces that provide fair and equal access to property information, promote competition while empowering realtors to serve clients for the home buying and selling jerseys. We will respond to these claims in court. Okay. Listen, I've been very critical of NAR. They've got a lot more coming than this. To me, I think these are rogue comments from Homie. I don't know if this is a collusion. I don't know if the evidence that I'm highlighting here is an example of overwhelming collusion against Homie. Because how can the home market boxed you out, yet you've saved consumers 140 million in commissions? How can
Right.
both be true? So
Right.
you've worked with a lot of consumers. Okay. Anything on Homie?
No, I feel good about Homie.
All right. Let's go to DOJ, and then we're gonna get to the real juicy one, the realtor. I think it's the most juicy, the realtor.com, the move,
The leads?
agents claiming fake leads. That one is, to me, the most interesting on this list. I know you are more interested in Homey.
Well, I mean, I just I'm looking forward to next week and the next list that we'll be talking about.
All right, first let's cover DOJ. They've sued RealPage for alleged rent price fixing. Okay. This was on Friday. So August the 23rd, the DOJ filed an antitrust complaint against RealPage, the real target of the FBI investigation when it conducted an unannounced raid of national apartment manager Cortland Management last May. RealPage is a $9 billion Texas-based software company that provides suggestions for rent increases based on its Yield Star algorithm, which relies not on renter demand, but on data collected from landlords. The reliance of corporate landlords on RentPage suggests a possible collusion to prop up rent prices regardless of actual vacancy numbers, driving up shelter costs. So DOJ is basically saying, hey, RealPage and landlords are colluding to drive up these rents. The Attorney General Merrick B. Garland threw down the gauntlet, alleging an arrangement between landlords and RealPage through the letter's revenue management software to increase rents based on data submitted by competing landlords, including rental rates, lease terms, and projected vacancies. RealPage combines this data feeds into its Yield Star algo, which then sends real-time pricing recommendations back to the competing landlords. But as Garland's speech continues, as we allege, these are more than just recommendations. So it sounds like recommendations, I guess, would be okay if he says these are more than just recommendations. RealPage actively polices landlords' compliance with these recommendations.
Oh.
It also monitors landlords' other policies by, for example, trying to stop concessions landlords use to attract other or retain renters.
So it
Large.
sounds like I'm not familiar with this at all, and maybe I'm the only one in the world, but so if you sign up with this real page, right? You have to follow their guidelines if you're a landlord?
Well, their response would be their software frequently recommends adjusting rent downward whenever supply and demand dynamics at a property so indicate, which obviously rent prices
Yep.
never go down. For example, if a certain type of unit, such as a two-bedroom at a property, is not leasing quickly, then the software will returnally recommend that the rent price be adjusted downward. Okay, so they're going to have to bring those examples to defend themselves if they're in abundance. RealPage revenue management software will recommend price increases at a particular unit type for a particular property only when there are more renters willing to pay a higher price than available units, which would make sense, supply and demand.
Supply
Okay.
demand, yeah.
If renters are not willing to pay published price, then the system will very quickly recommend lowering that price. So if that were to be true, what RealPage is saying to defend itself, they've got to bring those examples up. Big takeaway here is this is just maybe a little appetizer for the DOJ. They're just getting warmed up. They're just having that little caviar bump on the stuffed olive in the
Wait, a
martini.
bump? Oh my,
A
are you
caviar bump,
a
call the caviar a little bump
I
caviar.
no, is that what you call it, a bump?
Put bump in the comments here if you enjoy a little bump of caviar from time to time, maybe once a year, twice a year, maybe more for you. Maybe you're super fans.
Maybe you are super fancy, or maybe you're like me and you've never had a caviar bump. You don't necessarily
Never
need a
had
caviar
caviar.
bump
Well, you need that in your life at least once.
in your olives.
That was the first time I had the olives. That
I
was it
know.
was interesting.
It sounds like it's ruined you.
It has ruined me, although I did have a martini this past weekend with just the blue cheese, slumming it again.
Slumming it.
Slumming it. All right,
It's
so
hard enough for you to find a hand-stuffed blue cheese.
it was hand stuffed.
Yeah.
It was good. It was quality, just wasn't caviar quality. So there's your
Anyway.
DOJ throwing out a lawsuit, maybe more to come there, maybe not though as many that are going to be hitting NAR. Agents have, just like the Michigan agents, now there's a new group of agents that are putting together a lawsuit, and NAR is on the other side, but it's not
Mhm.
just NAR, it's move.com, or
Yep.
move rather, parent company to realtor.com and to Op City. The agents file a lawsuit against Move for selling fake leads. This is also published on Friday. 8 realtors filed a lawsuit against realtor.com's parent company Move, alleging fake leads sold through realtor.com, ListHub, and UpNest. These are all Move-owned companies. They own News Corp owns and operates Move. Move owns Op City, Realtor, UpNet, realtor.com, whatever. Okay. A lot of these parent companies. All right. So the key allegations: fraudulent lead sales. The plaintiffs argue that Move engaged in unlawfully bundling and selling low quality or fake leads to real estate agents. The leads were purportedly derived from individuals with no interest in purchasing real estate, and in some instances, leads were not interested with actual living human being.
Mhm.
The complaint states defendants failed and refused to take any action to vet, legitimize, or confirm the identity of these so-called leads, and deliberately sold fake and false leads along with other leads which range from highly questionable to legitimate. Okay. I've seen some comments on this go both ways. I saw some comments on the Instagram. BAM posted on, we posted or the team BAM's posted kind of just a headline,
Yeah.
right? And you got comments all over the place. One that received, I think, the most reaction said, "I'm not a huge fan of NAR, but just because these agents can't convert online leads
Mhm.
doesn't mean the leads aren't real." That's one commenter there.
I guess the other problem here is too is like buyers can be liars, right? I mean, can't they put in a fake
Well,
phone number or
yeah,
a fake email
th- th-
or
there's a lot of things that they can do that, yeah, that the
yeah.
companies. Now, another commenter says they are not wrong. Somebody else says, "Tell me you can't close leads without telling me you can't close leads." Somebody says, "You're gonna sue Zillow too." Um, we're good. Somebody says, "Good, worst leads I've ever gotten." Um, Somebody says, "Where do I join the lawsuit?" So in support, um, here's a commenter says, "Is there going to be a lawsuit for breathing soon?"
That's kinda how I feel. Remember I
Everyone
told you,
is
I'm like,
suing
"Maybe we
everyone.
should get involved. Let's for not having a caviar bump at all listings, like, that's NAR's fault, you know?"
Oh, for not having caviar in every martini, who can I sue for that? Somebody says only the attorneys win. Well, that's always true.
Yeah.
We know that's going to be true. So here's a couple of things that I'll say about one. We generate with our Connecticut team, Nicole. We
Yep.
generate anywhere, depending on the season, from I'll go a big range depending on down season, the high season, 400 to 800, sometimes more leads per month. Okay.
Right.
And, been doing this for a long time. I've never come across a lead that is not an actual living human being. I've never seen that. That's a new one to me. So maybe they have. I've just never
Well, I
seen.
don't know who's answering the phone then for you to establish that it's not an actual living human
I don't know.
being?
Maybe I've
What's answering? A dog? Is a dog I mean, I guess a dog would be a
yeah.
living being too, but,
So I
like,
guess there's alleging that there's like some robot just filling stuff. I don't know what that. I'd like to know more about
oh,
that.
okay, like an A they establish like an AI. Ooh, that reminds me
Yes.
of, have you watched the Netflix documentary on, what was that the Holly Madison? They had like a whole did you guys watch that? You have to watch that one. It was a whole fake they were having like AI or like ladies were pretending to be a bunch of ladies when they were
Or you
like
got to
flirting
pick if
back and
it's real
forth.
or AI. I
Yes.
haven't seen that.
So,
No.
like, if you were wanting to, like, cheat or whatever, like, the whole it was very anyway, that's what it
Hmm.
makes me think of.
So actual living human, maybe AI. I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going there. And then here's the other thing that I thought was interesting: selling low quality leads. Leads were purportedly driven from individuals with no interest. You know what Grant Cardone always says about sales? People hate it when I bring up Grant Cardone, but he says some funny things. He says, no interest is a level of interest. Okay. No interest is a level of interest. To your point, that word buyers or liars has like become, it's not really what agents mean, but but it's been used in the past because consumers will put up a wall. I always use the example. You're at Foot Locker. For those of us that remember Foot Lockers in the malls, you're staring at the wall of shoes. You're
Right,
staring at all these shoes. And somebody, a salesperson comes up to you and says, "Can I help you?" And you say, "No, no, just looking. Don't need anything." You Heisman the person away, just looking. And then what happens 15 minutes later? You walk out with two pairs of Nikes because you weren't just looking. You were there to buy. It was the end of August. You were going back to school, whatever the case may be, and you were buying shoes no matter what. But you Heisman away the salesperson as a natural reaction, as
right,
putting up a wall saying, "I'm just looking." And you could put that, a salesperson with who gets offended when somebody turns you down could take that as that person has no interest. Yet somebody else, they went off and screwed off and they were talking to somebody, and then they see somebody else checking that person out. What the heck? That person didn't want to buy. They told me no.
right, right,
Well, they put up a wall and then there wasn't enough follow up. I read something this morning, actually, Nicole, early this morning. Don't take it personally. I read this off of a Tim Ferriss learning on X. Don't take it personally when someone turns you down. Assume they are like you, busy, occupied, distracted. Try again later. To get what you want in life, ask a few times. Leads coming from realtor.com are not designed to work on the first conversation.
right,
This person had no interest. They're not buying a house this year, but they clicked on a house. Do they have interest maybe in 3 years? That is still a level of interest. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit your timeline of
right,
grabbing a commission check this year,
right,
but it does, I think listen, there are thousands of agents who have made millions of dollars partnering with realtor.com and zillow.com and OpCity and others over the last decade. There have been some monster businesses built. People wonder, hey, how do teams take up so much market share? They're swallowing up brokerage market share. It's been through working leads in the way that leads should be worked, following up without, um, you know, taking it personally that it wasn't initially coming off as a great lead or whatever. The complaint also claims that Move misled agents by offering exclusive leads that were instead sold to multiple agents. That to me, if you can prove that, this is obviously allegedly, that to me you'd have a case.
right.
Hey, I was in writing, I'm supposed to be getting
Direct
exclusive
only.
only,
Yeah,
not shared leads. There'd be a case there for sure.
right.
Okay.
I'm curious to see how they prove that though. Like, did they talk to another agent and get that? Or did that buyer say, I'm already working with another agent? This whole thing is,
Yeah, if it's hearsay from the buyer, weak case. I'm
yeah,
talking about evidence to your point of, okay, same time we both received the lead. that there is a product that realtor.com sells, okay, that would go to two agents at once. It's very upfront, in my experience, that you're going to be buying a lead that is going to two agents at once. You're getting it at a reduced cost.
Right.
So if you believe in your skill set, you can take that risk. If you're not going to respond for 12 hours, I would never buy a shared lead. Okay.
Right.
I would only want the even if I'm buying, I wouldn't buy leads if I can't respond for 12 hours, even exclusive leads. They're going to go find something else because you're going to talk to the agent. Hey, I already got connected with somebody else. Well,
Of
that now
course.
is hearsay. How'd you get connected? Okay.
Right.
They were waiting for you and how'd they get connected?
Right. Yeah.
They're also in the complaint is refusal of refunds. And then this is probably the weakest part. And I don't listen, you guys know if you listen to Real World long enough, I'm a huge critic of NAR. I think they got a lot of things to answer to. But NAR's complicity, if these are real, if there's actual evidence here on these alleged claims against Move, how is NAR complicit in that? The plaintiffs accuse NAR of aiding the fraudulent activities of Move by leveraging its relationship with Realtor.com to build its membership. Does that even make sense?
I guess I don't know. I don't know the back end of any of that. I don't know how a lead would bring you more membership.
So
But
NAR, they're saying NAR is, and at all times was, independently and intimately aware of the scheme and complicit therein through NAR's relationship and reliance upon the other defendants to build its membership ranks. Um, I would say NAR has tried to build its membership ranks in every way possible, and they've been, I would say, complicit in the tie-in agreement, which includes local associations and MLSs. But how does that have anything to do with Move and Realtor.com? They also
yeah.
argue that NAR's endorsement and their affiliation with Realtor.com, NAR does not own Realtor.com, hasn't owned NAR or Realtor.com for a long time, led them to trust and rely on the quality of leads, resulting in significant financial losses. So NAR they'd have to show the endorsement, I guess. NAR has denied these allegations. I think that's going to be an easy one for NAR to defend. I don't see a lot there. And ultimately, I don't listen. I don't want to come off here as like just not believing these 8 agents.
Yeah, of course not.
But my initial gut reaction anytime someone tells me,
They
you
get
know,
bad leads. No,
they
we
get,
I mean, we all sit with you on the phone here. We all have meetings with you. We all know how you feel about agents saying that it was a crappy lead, a shitty lead, a bad lead. We know. I think
yeah,
everyone, I mean, we've been,
you,
what is it, 332 episodes? I
you
think we
can
know.
you can get a quote unquote bad lead. I still think it's a great opportunity to talk to somebody about their level of interest
Of course,
on
but
real
you also
estate.
need to start thinking about your business in terms of like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that lead is no different than a lead that you've actively been taking around looking at homes for 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
just because they're actively
Or
looking doesn't mean that, like, they're actually gonna buy, but you would never call that a shitty lead, but I mean, but they haven't bought yet, you
or they're
know?
not qualified now. Well, are
Yeah.
they ever going to be qualified before they die? Are they
Or
ever
what
going to be
can you do to
qualified in
help
the
them
next
to
2 to
get
5 years?
qualified? Yeah.
So this is where I really have an issue. Now, sometimes you get a lead, they fill out a form, and it's impossible to get a hold of them. Or is it your lack of creativity to get their attention? Remember, don't take it personally when someone turns you down. Assume they're just like you. They're
Yeah.
busy, they're occupied, they're distracted. Try again later. Find a way to be more creative. Okay. Create follow up as a habit. Okay. A purpose of a habit is to remove self negotiation. Should I follow up with them now? No, you follow up consistently. You get
Right.
creative in your follow up. You add value. You educate. You send great information. You're optimistic about the future. Hey, this sucks. I can't buy a house. You're going to be able to buy a house someday. I'm going to be right here with you. I'm going to help you get started. The future's
Right.
bright. Let's get to work on it. Let me get you connected with a lender. Let me get you connected with somebody who can solve credit problems. Okay. The house that I currently own, the lender said, "Hey, what this weird thing on your credit popped up." I'm trying to think what it was. It was like a $300. I don't know. It was some baloney. It was some garbage. He's like, "Let's get this fixed. Let's do a rapid fix on this deal," and we got the problem knocked out. You know,
Yeah. I
wasn't a
mean,
big deal.
unless Realtor and Opcity and all are really doing an AI generated, I mean, it's kind of what they're alluding to here, right?
Well, they have not. They have not said AI. We said
We're
is
saying AI.
we
Well, they're
took.
saying that they're not real beings.
They're not alive. Maybe they're using like a dead name. I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Hey, what, have you ever met somebody who uses their parents' name? Yeah, I have too. I mean, I've met people that have used their parents' name, and then maybe that parent is deceased, whatever, and they're just trying to get information. It's somebody who's got questions about real estate. And also, leads are a numbers game. If you expect to convert on 100% of people, 50% of people, 40% of people, 15% of people, if you can expect to convert on a year on 15% of the leads, then you really need to study other businesses. You need to take a look at what the numbers are in other businesses. Treat it like, don't buy leads unless you're truly treating real estate like running your own business. And if you're running your own business, understand how marketing and how you need to have processes on leads that are coming in, how to attract leads, how to invest in leads, how to service leads. What's a funnel look like? Who's going to be at a top of a funnel? How long are they going to be sitting there? Who's really at the bottom of the funnel? Okay.
Right.
How do you work middle of the funnel?
Right.
People that have been in your database 6 months, are they collecting dust because you believe that they were fake? Have you ever gone and done an audit of all your leads, of how many of them bought with somebody else? You can go spend an hour, 2 hours, or pay a VA or whatever to go and do that audit. Here's all the leads I've bought. How many of them have actually, or here's all the leads I invested in. How many of those leads have bought with somebody else in my market?
Right.
That's going to be a learning experience and a reflection on you, your creativity, the way you provide a service, the way you educate, the way you communicate. Did you pick up that phone and the first thing you say is, "Nicole, I see you want to see 123 Main Street." And you say
Oh,
something.
are we role playing?
We're going to role
Yes.
play. We're going to role play. Yeah. What do you say?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Are you pre-approved, lady?
No.
Yeah. Well, you ain't seeing this house, right?
Please.
No, you're not pre-approved. Get me a pre-approval letter. Call me back. Okay.
I hope no one speaks like that.
That's some people's script. That's insane. That's an
Yeah.
insane script. It's also insane, like going back to what the homies over at Homie were saying. Like, those alleged posts are insane things to say. There was a
Right.
comment on our last video, on our last pod, rather, on the Real Word here on YouTube, on the video side of it. By the way, the Real Word is always available on Spotify and Apple, but here on the YouTube version, somebody said, "I saw someone price the home in the MLS at $329,995 and
Oh,
0.03 cents."
yeah.
And then the comment was, "That is precisely what will get agents into trouble and their brokerages." Yes, documented insane things. Like, if what Homie has can be proven as legitimate comments in writing, which sounds like it is, email, that's going to be real bad for that agent. This agent who's writing, stupid things like that in the MLS,
Yeah.
that's going to be really bad.
Right.
It,
And it's yeah, yes.
and agents who say stupid things on the phone to leads are going to win stupid prizes. Okay, that's just the way it's going to work. And so there is part of this that's a skill set. You got 8 agents that are alleging this: California, Nevada, Washington, Florida, Georgia, New York. This went to the Los Angeles Superior Court, and I would question every agent who says that they get bad leads from Realtor or Zillow or any of these places. What was your process in following up? When Chris Smith came on to BAM BBQ over the summer, his book, Seller, The Conversion Code, he broke down the stats of if you don't respond in the first 30 seconds to a minute on online leads, your ability to convert plummets by 300%.
Right.
It just drops off a cliff. And so what's your process look like on being able to handle these leads? So
You could talk about this for another hour, can't you?
I really could. I
Yeah.
will say, I don't think if you have a legitimate case against Move, then make it. What the heck does NAR have to do with this? And I don't want to be the guy sticking up for NAR. Trust me. I think they have done a lot of damage into the industry. I lean into critiquing them based off of the moves they've made. But I got to defend them here. I don't know what the heck they're doing on this lawsuit. It doesn't even make sense, the complaint here with NAR.
Yeah.
So, all right, Nicole, I think that's it for the real word.
Yeah. I think you did it.
I think you did it too. I think you were
Yeah.
really,
This is good. I'm excited to hear what pops up next.
I think you really John Maddened your way through this pod.
Oh, don't I always?
The color commentator, Nicole White. Follow her at Nicole White Realtor CT. Is that your
I got rid of Realtor. It's Nicole White CT. Is that really what we're doing? I feel like
at
last time you
Nicole
did
White
that,
CT on Instagram?
I get inundated and then it gets me really anxious.
She really enjoyed the follower grab she got on Instagram. So go Nicole White CT, throw her a DM. If you're listening this far into the pod, thank you so much. If you're getting
Yeah.
value, hit the thumbs up. It helps it reach more people, as well as subscribe to the channel and come to BAM Mania. By the way, if you're listening to this in the first, I guess, 24 hours, tickets go to the next level pricing at midnight on Wednesday, the 28th, August 28th. Okay, so don't want you to miss out. Get locked in now. BAMMania.com. BAMX members, you get 25% off of the lowest price, and take advantage before midnight. All right, take advantage and keep it real. Love to see what your comments are on these 3 lawsuits. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
With August 17th approaching, it is more important than ever for agents to keep their clients, not just for the transaction, but for life. So I believe so much in what Reminder Media is doing. They're creating content that allows you to stay in front of your sphere of influence, the clients that you've transacted with in the past, so that they think of you first when they have a referral, when they have another transaction. A lot of people send a just sold or a just closed realtor talk mail. Reminder Media supports agents like Nicole, my co-host on The Real Word, in building out an authentic magazine where you can advertise your own properties. Here's an example of our award-winning luxury new development that we have in Connecticut. Put it right on the back and put in a whole bunch of relevant information. You can build out the content inside of your magazine and send it to maybe people you're following up with to get a listing, or people who are in your database right now who know you but might just forget about you because you're mixing in with all the postcards from the other agents. Reminder Media keeps you top of mind with the people that you want as clients for life. That's why we believe in so much of how they're helping agents just like you stand out. Go to remindermedia.com/BAM sample. Remindermedia.com/BAM sample today to get your sample and start reminding your clients exactly who you are today. At BAMX, we listen to what real estate professionals want and need. That's why our platform is filled with sought-after courses, content, and tactical assets for your business. And that's why we launched BAMX in a box with templates and scripts done for you, delivered each Friday. The best part? It's not coming from panel pontificators who bought their followers and don't sell any real estate. It's coming from top agents, team leaders, and content creators in the industry. It's education that actually shows you how to do what you need in today's market. And now it includes editable templates and scripts so you can easily deliver that knowledge to your database. Every day, we continue to add more content into BAMX, into our private Facebook community, content that works, content that our members have exclusive access to daily. So do not wait any longer. Use code REALWORD and join the thousands of agents taking their business to the next level today. Code REALWORD for 10% off. I'll see you in BAMX.